Wall Street protests have grown exponentially and have spread to cities around the globe. They're protesting corporate greed and corruption, which they say is lining the pockets of a privileged few at the expense of the masses. The movement, once ignored and mocked by political leaders and the mainstream media, is now being taken seriously. We're even seeing Republican presidential candidates changing their tune when it comes to the growing movement. Mitt Romney, for example, first called the Occupy Wall Street movement, quote, dangerous class warfare. And when asked about the protest during last night's presidential debate, here's what he had to say.
We've had a president responsible for this economy for the last 3 years, and he's failed us. He's failed us in part because he has no idea how the private sector works or how to create jobs. On every single issue, he's made it harder for our economy to reboot. And as a result, we have 25 million Americans out of work, or stop looking for work, or part-time work and can't get full-time employed. Home value is going down. You have median income in America that in the last 3 years has dropped by 10%. Americans are hurting across this country, and the president's out there campaigning. Why isn't he governing?
So who is to blame, Wall Street or Washington? Joining me now is Gerald Celente, publisher of the Trends Journal and director of the Trends Research Institute. Gerald, thank you for joining us. So are protesters taking their anger out at the wrong people? Should they be protesting in Washington instead of Wall Street?
Wall Street is Washington, and Washington is Wall Street. Look who the heads of the U.S. Treasury have been over the last couple of presidents. Robert Rubin, Goldman Sachs, then moving over to Citigroup. And then you had Henry Paulson, the Treasury Secretary under Bush that devised the whole TARP program. Where did he come from? Oh, CEO of Goldman Sachs. We had to bail out Goldman Sachs for making a bad bet of $13 billion with AIG. Who is the chief of staff of President Obama? Where does he come from? Oh, that's Bill Daley. Wasn't he the vice chairman at J.P. Morgan Chase? It's the same club. It's just a different division.
So you just said Wall Street is Washington. So does that mean that they should be taking their protests to Washington?
They should be they're taking them everywhere. This is really, again, we're not Monday morning quarterbacks on this. I wrote a book in 1990, it came out in 1997, Trends 2000, and I was predicting what the future would look like. It's right there. It's on, you get it anywhere. When we had revolutions taking place on Wall Street, and we said they were from all different generations. It wasn't a 60s sound. And the reason we said it was very simple. The gap between the rich and the poor. That's all this is about. Whether it's Tunisia, whether it's Egypt, whether it's Bahrain, whether it's Greece, whether it's Spain, whether it's Italy, whether it's the UK, when the money stops flowing down to the man on the street, the blood starts flowing in the streets.
And at these Occupy Wall, that is what they're protesting, is inequality. So do you think that our system, do you agree that with their message, that our system favors the powerful at the expense of those that are striving to build the American dream?
It's summed up in 4 simple words. Too big to fail. We just heard Herman Cain, you know, that 999 guy, chastising the Wall Street protesters as saying they were anti-capitalists. No, sorry, Mr. Cain, you have it backwards. Bailing out the too big to fails, the rich bankers, the Federal Reserve dumping trillions of dollars worldwide, that's anti-capitalist.